For all my have-nots on a mission to get rich. Okay, I've been to the promised land. And I'm back to spread the gospel, you heard me? Rock solid mafia. The thing is this, nigga. You are a king in your own mind. Every nigga can be a king. A man is who he say.
Beforehand, before I mention about signing this new deal, you know, whenever people hear about me signing the deal, first thing they think, oh, he gonna sign an artist deal, you know, let this be known, this is a distribution deal for Rock Solid Music with In-Grooves Entertainment / Universal. So if I do sign, it's gonna be a distribution situation, you know what I'm saying? Basically, I'll still be in the same position I've been in for my career, you know what I'm saying, for the most part of my career. But I know a lot of people were saying, you know, don't sell your soul, you know, don't sign, don't let them change you. So, you know, I was just reading the comments. I see the feedback is getting better, you know what I'm saying, and people are reacting more positive toward it. And I'm thankful for that because it's not an artist deal, you know, it's a predicament where I could not only be an artist myself, where I could be able to put other artists on, you know what I'm saying, be able to create other bosses, be able to create other situations where other people could work, you know what I'm saying. We got a lot of shit in motion, a whole lot of shit in motion, a lot of producers on the label, you know what I'm saying, who have dreams of making their own labels manifest. Well, these are the type of situations that we have to put in motion to get that shit in order, you know what I'm saying. We have other artists on the label that have ambitions of being CEOs one day themselves. Well, these are the type of deals that you have to negotiate and try to put in motion to get those type of situations catapulted off the ground. Even with myself, you know, I've been a CEO all this time. I've been my own boss, but I would like a bigger situation. Well, you know, that's what this is about. So I just want to say thanks to all the fans who had positive feedback about the situation, and to those who have negative feedback about it, just to educate you more about it so you understand. But yeah, I guess we'll kick in the intermission. Before I even make a move on anything, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing this, you know, I just want to get a world, the true perspective, you know what I'm saying, of what happened in my days from my career earlier up to now, you know what I'm saying, because I get a lot of people wondering, well, you know, why T-Rock never signed with a major label? Like, do T-Rock want a major deal, you know what I'm saying? And let me put this plainly. I'm not against major labels, you know what I'm saying? I'm not anti-major label. I am against predicaments where they make you a starting artist. And I'm down with, you know what I'm saying, any situation where a motherfucker can get you paid. But in my early days, you know, people always wonder, have I ever shot for deals and all of that shit. So when I first left 3-6, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna give you the rundown. I had a meeting with Jason Jeter years ago. And for those who don't know who Jason Jeter is, that's T.I.'s manager, you know, part of his staff, you know what I'm saying. He played a big role in Tip's success. Well, this was when the Tip first album was coming out, the I'm Serious album. And, you know, I was trying to get out of my contract with 3-6 and get a lucrative situation to where I can, you know, start working again. Jason heard my music, you know what I'm saying. He loved my music. He even told me out his own mouth. He's like, man, you one of the best artists I ever heard come out of this camp, you know, out of 3-6 camp. And he's like, man, honestly, man, they ain't gonna let you go. And he even told me, he was like, if you was with us, we wouldn't let you go. You know, we laughed about the shit, you know, so everything was cool. You know, eventually I kept doing my work, you know what I'm saying. I kept just hitting the streets, you know, my movement, rapping on whoever shit I could rap on. And at the time, I couldn't do too many major cameos because I was on contract, which I thought. So I hooked over my cousin T-Love. We did Conspiracy Theory. You know what I'm saying? That was my first store release. You know, we recorded the album like in a matter of 2 days. I had all the material ready. You know, I went over it. You know what I'm saying? We approached the whole situation like a battle plan because studio time and shit. We knocked the album out. Sold 20,000 records, to make a long story short. Big success, you know what I'm saying, for an independent record. 3-6, you know, DJ Paul and J at the time, they turned around and put out the Rock Solid 420 album. They was like, okay, due to his success by itself, you know, we'll see what his record do. Because they had been sitting on the record, they didn't really have faith in the record, and the record wasn't complete. So I really had walked away from the situation, which is crazy. And you know, that's a whole nother story. I elaborate more on that on another note. But they put that album out. They put Rock Solid 420 out. That sold 27,000. So after that, you know, I had an ideal situation with, cause Secret Service was the label that put out Conspiracy Theory. So you know, I had an ideal situation where, you know, I was about to be put in a predicament. Really was, you know, finna get some serious boss shit. I had a doctor investing in my career, you know what I'm saying, as an investor. My cousin was head of the management and staff, you know what I'm saying. So, and I was the artist. But at that time, you know, I had so many people in my ear. We can give you this, we can give you that, we can give you this, we can give you that. And I was young, I ain't really know shit about the business. But I did know I wanted my own situation to be my own boss. So I ended up parting ways with Secret Service, you know what I'm saying? Really on a lot better note than I did with 3-6. But turned around and I put out the Mr. Washington story after that with a distributor called Worldwide. Because at the time, Selecto Hits, and I gotta give big props to Selecto Hits, because Selecto Hits were the ones that was carrying the Conspiracy Theory album. Even the Rock Solid 420 album, the 136 put out, Selecto Hits distributed that shit. You know what I'm saying? Defcon 1, a lot of my releases. But at the time, you know, they didn't really know where I stand. They was like, all right, T-Rock keep leaving labels, and you know, it keep me in complicated situations with his career. So they didn't want to touch the Mr. Washington story at that time. So I got with Worldwide, and they distributed the record. That was my first record as a, you know, on my own, Rock Solid Music. I produced the record. I got on the keyboards myself, which was something different. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. I produced the whole record outside of 4 tracks. And Adonis, you know what I'm saying, artist I was working with at the time, you know, she produced the other 4. And she rapped on a couple of cuts with me. She was part of Area 51. So we put that out, you know, and it did like 13,000, 14,000. So, you know, I was doing my own shit, but this was the first record where I put my own money into everything, and I was able to see expenses with how shit got broke down with cost and everything. And then I also began to understand why certain companies do what they do. Some of my perspectives on shit was right, some of my perspectives on shit was wrong. But that situation itself was a learning experience to turn me into a boss. Alright. After the Mr. Washington story, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, a lot of costs being involved and everything, everybody had to get paid. You know, even though I had put out my own record, I still had distributors investing money in things. So everybody had to get paid. Whenever you take money from a motherfucker, you got to pay it back. It's just like on the streets. If a motherfucker front you some shit, he want his money back. Well, business works the same way. You can ask any businessman in any line of work. You can ask the nigga that own McDonald's, he'll tell you that. If he don't sell X amount of burgers at X amount of time, he's done. Somebody gotta pay for it. So, with that being said, Mr. Washington story shit was still a success because I had numbers, but after that release, I took a break for a couple of years. You know, you didn't see that many T-Rock records being released, and if you did, it was some old shit. Maybe, you know, somebody was throwing out on the streets. But going through that, the reason I took that time off was for cost reasons, you know, and I had to regroup on my team. Alright, what distributor am I gonna fuck with? Where do I want to go from here with my career? So I decided to shop to a label at the time called Fontana. Fontana was owned by Universal Records. Alright? And for those who don't know, Fontana was responsible for a lot of artists. They distributed, what the time they was distributing Tech 9, Rap a lot of Bun B shit, you know, UG shit. A lot of independent artists, big time motherfuckers, and the list goes on and on. Well, at the time, Fontana seen my sound scans, and they said, well, T-Rock looks like a success, but, you know, he ain't had a record out in like, you know, a year and a half, 2 years. So they was like, well, we want to see if you can still pull these numbers. And when you drop your new record, you know what I'm saying, we'll see your sound scans, and if you still sell these type of numbers, we'll give you the deal. So that's what they told me, and you know, I respected it, and I went ahead and kept doing my own thing. At the time, I was working on the 420 Reincarnated album. For those who don't know, that's the one I did with DJ Scream years ago. around like 06, 07, you know. So I decided to go back to Selecto Hits. My track record was good. They saw my paperwork was good, so they decided to work with me again, which was a great thing because they helped nourish my talent on a lot of levels, helping me put out records. So I put out 420 Reincarnated with Selecto Hits. And when Fontana told me what they told me, I was like, okay, they want to see if I can still do the numbers. So I decided to go back independent with an independent distributor, which was Selecto. So we put the album out. It did great, you know. The checks were great. I was seeing my own money. You know, I'm finally in a predicament where I'm seeing my own checks. And not only am I seeing my own checks, I'm paying other people, you know. So it was a great situation for me. So after the 420 Reincarnated situation went real successful, I decided to go ahead and drop the Kush on Selecto Hits also because, you know, the situation was real lucrative. They was cutting the checks. Shit was gravy. So the Kush dropped and I outsold the 420 Reincarnated. So we had the ball rolling again. But this time I was my own boss, you know, cutting my own checks, you know, even cutting checks to my employees and my producers, and it was just phenomenal for me. So at that time, you know, we just decided to keep the ball rolling with that formula. And, you know, I never shopped again. You know, people ask me, like, why don't you have a major label? I'll be honest, I never shopped for a major label deal again after that situation. And it's not because I didn't want a deal. You know, it was because I had found a lucrative situation, and I just felt like, okay, you know, if it's meant, it'll come. And, you know, it's not that I was ever anti-label, you know. They told me to prove myself, so I felt I went and fucking proved myself and did what I had to do. But the whole topic of this conversation is N-Grooves came in and they bought out Fontana. So basically, it's kind of like the situation where when Relativity came and bought out Loud when back when I was with 3C's Mafia years ago. So N-Grooves / Universal owns Fontana now. So like my contract is for N-Grooves. And this is the same company years ago that told me, you know, T-Rock, we still want to see if you can do these numbers. We still want to see if you still can sell these records, if the people still love you. And I did that, and now this the company I'm finna sign with. The same people who asked me years ago could I prove myself, and I mean, I didn't ask for this. You know, the deal was given to me, you know what I'm saying? We submitted paperwork, and I'm just saying that to say the same people who I went to years ago, and I was like, you know, asking them for something, they went back, you know, years, they was telling me I wasn't ready at the time. I wasn't ready at the time, but instead of being bitter, I sat back and I did my homework on the business, you know, and I kept working. I continued to work. I stayed consistent. And now, you know, years later, with me not even shopping for a deal, not even looking for a deal, I get a deal from the same people. So, you know, I'm saying that to say, man, whatever you want to do in life, you know what I'm saying, continue to work hard at it. If it's something you want, somewhere you want to be, you know, something you feel like something is burning in you, you got to get out. You know, do what you got to do to get it out. You know, pursue your dreams. You know, don't listen to the naysayers. You know, because a lot of the no's will turn you into who you are today. If every time you take a no and say yes I can do it, yes I can pursue it. Now imagine if I took the shit years ago where they was like, we want to see if T-Rock can still sell. And I said, well, fuck it, man. I need some money now. If rap ain't gonna pay off right now, man, fuck it. I ain't gonna put out no fucking records. They playing with me. Because that was always an option. And that was a thought. But instead, I continued to work. I continued to make my music. Continued to make the type of music I believed in. Continued to build my team. No, it didn't happen overnight. But I'm saying that to say now, the same people are like, hey, he's ready. So it's just a blessing, you know what I'm saying, staying positive, you know what I'm saying? Take the negative thoughts and channel them into something positive. Take that shit and pursue your dream with it. You know, instead of saying fuck it, you know, cause really that was the make or break. Who would ever known that now I'm known as, you know, people look at me as like, you know, the alternative to the mainstream. I hear the comments, you know what I'm saying? And when I go to my shows, I hear what people say to me on the streets. And I never set out to be that. I never set out to be the alternative of the mainstream. All I ever set out to be was the conqueror of my obstacles. And people looked at the mainstream as one of my obstacles. But that same thing, that same ambition is what got me to where I am. And that's what's gonna drive me further. So I'm saying that to say you never know, the day you lose could be the day you take that energy to turn it around, to learn some shit and turn that losing day into your winning day years later. And somebody need to hear this, and somebody need to understand that you got a gift, and don't let the world tell you that you can't do it, because you can do it, and you are gonna do it if you believe, if you push. You just never know when your day coming. Keep God first, man. Don't forget where you come from. Always believe in yourself, but believe in God even more. Stay about your family. Don't ever give up on your dreams. And on that note, I'm signing this contract. And the date. And we working. There you have it. It's done. Rock Solid Music / N-Groove / Universal, man. It's done. Appreciate the love, man. Chase your dreams. Because anything you want to make happen in life, you can make it happen. Don't ever give up on it. Cheer.
I stay full of weed and drinks since I can't fly to outer space. Murder to my foes who crossed me out and left a sour taste. I don't fuck with lazy hoes. If she with me, she bout a cake. I work these hoes for what they worth and kick their ass up out my face. Bitch, I'm flying off. I survive my haters dying off.